We are back. I'm Tina, and of course, this is Tina and Friends. Pat Casale is back with us, and Anthony Barney. And I thought that was an interesting, hello, I can talk, interesting conversation with Scott. He's going to be running for the Tea Party Patriot. And what did you think about it?
I like his passion. I mean, very compassionate. I think he's got that zest that we might need. I think Harry Reid doesn't have that any longer. I think
Did he ever have it?
At one time, I'm sure, but now he's ready. He's 70 years old. He wants to rest. Maybe get Rory in a better position.
Give him a rest.
But no, I think Scott's a lot of good points. I think as he goes along and gets more and more experience with being interviewed constantly, things are going to he'll become more and more feisty. He's only announced his candidacy in the last couple of weeks, so it is becoming quite exciting for him. And with each day that passes, I think you're going to see more and more about him, and hopefully more positive.
One of the things that he stressed, and this is what I liked, Anthony, is he stressed about the fiscal responsibility. And this is what the whole Tea Party movement started because of this incredible spending in Washington. And that's basically what it is. I mean, to me, all the Tea Party people that I've talked to are really focused on the insane, and I mean insane, spending. And as he said, how are we ever going to pay China back? And I don't want to owe China 10 cents. I think we ought to close down all kinds of social programs. It's going to be painful, but it's too darn bad. Shut them down and pay China back and get out of the hole. What do you think?
Well, I think part of the angst that you see in the Tea Party movement, and it was witnessed in Scott's discussion, is that many people are tired of the do as I say, not as we do. They are essentially asking Americans, they meaning the administration at this point, to tighten our belts, to do those things that we need to in order to make ends meet as they continue to spend with reckless abandon. And the concerns that I see is, and I think that many of the other voters see, is that when you don't lead by example, few will follow.
Well, and you know something, and I must tell you, I had an email the other day from someone, and there was a picture of Michelle Obama, and she had a pair of sandals on, and they were $680 sandals. Is that a disconnect or what? Is that not looking at people who are working for $10 and $15 an hour and just saying, to heck with you? I mean, there's no, to me, it just doesn't relate in this particular era. Now, maybe 4 years ago, if she'd have had a pair of Manolo Blancs or something, you could live with it. But right now, shouldn't they be trying to tone it down a little?
Well, I think in America, we want to reward success. I don't really have a problem with an individual that is successful, that has the means to purchase those things that they desire. I think the deeper and more concerning issue to me is that when we are spending the public funds which are entrusted to our leaders, we expect fiscal responsibility. We're not looking at it necessarily from an individual standpoint. We're looking at it from a broad perspective of these are our funds and they ought to be used in a judicious way for the greater good of society. And so if somebody has a nice car or they wear nice clothes, I'm not as concerned. And in fact, I look at that as part of the capitalist system in which we live.
I'm not saying that. I'm not, Anthony. I totally agree with you. I am up for everybody. Anybody that can have a pair of $600 sandals, have them if that's what you want to do. I'm saying that in their position, in the responsibility that they have in this sort of a terrible depression, shouldn't they set an example?
There again, I think the example comes from the broader perspective of using the funds wisely. Her funds, Michelle Obama's funds, are her funds, and she's allowed to spend them in a free society in any way that she deems appropriate. I think to say otherwise would actually join the opposing view that because somehow that we are in a financial situation, we must all suffer, whether we're doing good or bad. And I don't think that that's appropriate. I think that it is something that we need to look at from the standpoint of what are these funds being used for from a taxpayer's perspective, because they are the taxpayer's funds in the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're almost out of time. What closing thought there, Patrick?
Imelda Obama. I mean, sorry. No, actually, I tell you, real simple. I think charity begins at home, and I think right now what we need to do is start worrying about what's happening here. I know there's a lot of calamities around the world, but the biggest calamity right now is in our own backyard.
Yeah.
And if we can't feed and take care of our own family, I'm sorry, we can't worry about everybody else.
And not only that, but you know what they teach you in the airplane? If the oxygen thing comes down, put the oxygen on yourself first, because if you don't, you can't help the person next to you. And that is very, very true. If we can't help ourselves and we can't keep our country afloat, then we can't help someone like Haiti or Chile or any of the other countries that are having problems. I think that's a very good point. You made a good point, but you always do. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Just hang in there, because my friends still have something to say. Okay, Pat Casale, Anthony Barney, Tina Trenner, we're all telling you we need you to join the Army. And the Army is, make sure that you call Congress, tell them how you feel about what's going on. Make sure you start emailing, get the email addresses. There's Congress, we're going to put the Congress phone number right there on the screen for you. And we've got to do something, folks. We've got to take the country back. We really can't go on like this. Guys, say goodnight.
Good night.